Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well today and have had a good and easy time getting through your assignments for this week. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we just reviewed some of the things that we'd already learned, and I haven't gotten any questions from any of you, so I'm just assuming that you guys, got through that all fine. But so today we're going to introduce something new. So you see here on Thursday, we are introducing Unit 9.4. So in the beginning, 9.1, we saw what a percent was, and we learned that a percent is just essentially a fraction out of 100. We learned how to find percents here, and we learned how to find percentages and divide and multiply percents. All right, and today we're going to learn how to add and subtract percents, which is kind of funny because I would have thought to learn how to add and subtract before I multiplied and divide percents, but that's just my brain. All right, so today we're just going to learn just a simple concept, and hopefully you guys can follow that along just fine. So, going forward, I would love it if you guys could just read through the unit by yourself before you get to the video. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and pause this video, read through the unit, and then come back to it. That way we don't have to read this together, and you guys kind of have in mind what we're about to learn. And then any questions, I can just clarify for you. So go ahead and pause this video, read through your unit, and then come back to it. All right, so today we are going to add and subtract percents. So we already talked about in class how when we find percents, it's normally when we're shopping, things like that. Some of you mentioned other ways we would find percents. You can think of those here. But primarily we see them in shopping. Maybe there's a discount, or maybe you have to tip somebody. You went out to eat or something, and you had to tip them. Normally you tip 15 or 20%, and you just have to figure out what that number is. So there are a couple different ways here that they show us how to add and subtract percents. So here, there are two ways. Here's an example. 49% plus 2%. 49% plus 2%. So adding as fractions would be to first put the 49 over 100 plus 2 over 100 equals 51 over 100. If you add as decimals, you would have to convert everything to a decimal, which we know is just adding a 0 and then the decimal and then putting the number after it. So 0.49 plus 0.02 equals 0.51. But honestly, you don't even have to go through all that work. Adding percents is literally just as easy as just adding numbers. So if you see the numbers 49% plus 2%, all you have to do is add 49 plus 2, and that gives you your number. It's the same in subtracting. Here we see example number 2. Solve 51%, take away 49%. You could go through all of the trouble of making them fractions or turning them into decimals, but at the end of the day, all you have to do is subtract 49 from 51, and that gives you your answer 2. Then you add your percentage, your percent sign, and that gives you 2%. Since percents are all numerators of the same denominator, adding and subtracting is just a matter of adding and subtracting the percent amount. So it's super simple. It might look intimidating to begin with, but all you have to do is add and subtract the numbers. So let's go over to our worksheet. Here we have adding and subtracting percents. This is page 143. All right, guys, so I'll give you a second to figure out, to go ahead and start trying to work on letter A, all right? So we could turn these into fractions, we could turn these into decimals, but we don't have to. So go ahead on a separate sheet of paper, or if you have your workbook, go ahead and pause the video and try and figure out how to solve this problem, okay? And then as soon as you come up with an answer, it might be right, it might be wrong, that's okay. As soon as you come up with an answer, go ahead and restart the video or just hit play and we will work through this together. All right, so pause now. Okay, so you've solved your problem for whatever answer you got, and hopefully you went through these steps, all right? So we just take the numbers. So simple. We take the numbers 15, well, let me switch this. We take the numbers 15 plus 69 equals, what's the answer? 84. All right, so how do we find the actual answer? This is the really, really hard part, you guys. We have to do this. That's it. That is how we figure out the answer. 15 plus 69 equals 84, and then you just add your percent sign, and that is literally the answer. So I'm sure for letters B and C, you guys can do this all on your own. It's not even going to take too much brain power, okay? Just remember to look at your signs here, all right? So this is a subtraction sign, or symbol. But go ahead and finish working through the next couple ones, and then we will keep going, all right? All right, at the store, answer these questions by finding the discount amount and then subtracting that from or adding it to the original cost. Show your work. All right, so we're going to go back to our lesson, and we are going to figure this one out, all right? So now we're to return to figuring out your discounted total. If you have a 15% off coupon and use it on a $20 item, there are a couple different ways you could figure this out. All right, so they go into this long explanation, but there are essentially two ways to figure this out. One is you can figure out what 15% of $20 is, or you can figure out what 85% of $20 is. All right, so you might be wondering, how'd you get the number 85? Well, I'll show you. When we work on percents, always remember, a percent is just a part of 100, okay? So if we take 15 from 100, if we take 15 out of 100, all right, so I did this backwards. All right, so 100 take away 15 equals 85. All right, so if we take away 15 from 100, we get 85. So rather than just subtracting this or figuring out what this number is of 20, we can figure out what this number is of 20. And then that gives us the actual amount we'll end up spending, okay? It just kind of removes a step. But if that way is too confusing, or if that is just not how your brain works, that's okay. All of our brains work in different ways. So let's figure it out both ways, just for the sake of learning. So this is the first way you can learn how to do this, okay? The first way is to take 15% out of 20. So 15% times $20 equals 0.15. All right, we have to turn this into a decimal, okay? That's your first step. This needs to be a decimal. So 0.15 times $20 equals $3. All right, so but now we have to subtract. $20 take away $3 equals $17. Those are our steps, okay? First, we turn our percent to a decimal. Percent to decimal. All right. Then we multiply. All right. We multiply the decimal times the amount. And then we subtract. We subtract the total. So the number that we got here, we subtract the percentage from the $20, okay? And once we subtract this percentage from the $20, that gives us our number, all right? So that is one way to do it. And it doesn't matter which way you choose. Neither one of them is right or wrong. They both give you the same answer, okay? So the second way you could do it is this way. So 100% right here. Take away 15%, which is the same as 100 take away 15, equals 85%. All right. Now to find out how much you would have to pay, you just need to find 85% of 20. All right, so here we go here. And 85%, we turn it into decimal, times $20 equals $17. And that is the same answer as this one, okay? So if you think this way is easier, number one is easier, then do number one. If you think number two is easier, then do number two. Both of them get you the same answer, all right? So let's go back to our work page and do number two. At the store. So this one you can use a calculator for. At the store. Answer these questions by finding the discount amount and then subtracting that from or adding it to the original cost. So, example, if you use a 5% off coupon to buy a $50 item, how much will you end up paying? So, step one, we turn it to a decimal. Then we multiply the decimal times the amount, and that gives us $2.50. So that's how much we get off of our total amount. So we get $2.50 off of $50. Step two is to subtract $2.50 from $50. And that will give us $47.50. So I will let you guys go ahead and work on these ones, all right? Go ahead and go through those, work on them on your pages, and then we will try and figure it out together. All right, so if you pause the video, got your answer for letter A, maybe you did letters A, B, and C, now you can come back to this one, and we're going to try and figure this out. So step one, we turn this 10% into a decimal. So how do we turn a percentage into a decimal? We take the number, we add a decimal. So simple. All right, now if you use 10% off coupon to buy a $43.89 item, how much will you end up paying? So we take the 10%, turn it to a decimal. Here, I'll put a 0 here just for clarification. And if we follow these steps up here, we multiply it times this number right here, 43.89. All right, so here we can use a calculator. So go ahead and multiply. Make sure that you multiply correctly, okay? So 0.10, okay, times 43.89. All right, so make sure that you multiplied correctly. This gives us our first total, and our first total is 4.38. All right, 4.38. So remember, since we're talking about money, we don't go any further, okay? So even though it's 4.389, we don't go any further because we don't have anything that's less than a penny. All right, so we stop at the 8. 4.38. All right, so now we go to step 2. $43.89. Let me put the dollar sign here. And we subtract it. $4.38. All right, so hopefully if you guys did the first step correctly, you will have the correct answer here. That gives us, remember our dollar sign, 39.51. That is our answer for letter A. So go ahead and complete this work page 9.4 and 9.5. The rest of these just all go together. And if you have any questions, text or email me. And yeah, that'll be all. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and send those to me. This number 3 is just going over it by adding the percentages first. So this is the second way to do it. All right. So just if you have any questions, first, these are the steps. Make sure you follow the steps that are right here, okay? These steps. They'll help you get through these. And then the rest of them, this is review and this is review. All right, so go ahead and send them to me once you're done. And I'll grade them and send them back to you and answer any questions that you have. All right, guys, thanks for joining me.